Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is Ahmed Ghalib, and I'm here to explain what was my part in Deliverable 3. Okay, let's begin. So basically, I worked, me and Atayib Mustafa, on one class, which is Bird. We've been working on two functionalities: the circle, which is this one. The circle idea is to have x and y and radius. It's like an object, but without inheritance. Only one class, one struct called circle, and we put it here as like association, I think. And in the bird class, we added gravity and velocity and jump power. And we can set values on the bird constructor. Obviously, we have two functions, draw and draw, and tick. Tick is being called every frame. As you can see, it is here. Yeah. No, not here. Bird. It should be here. Yeah, this one. And jump. This one is triggered on whenever the player presses space, and is collision. But we actually didn't work on the collision. The collision was Walid's part. So I'm going through the other methods. The draw and undraw are just basically the same, except that this one's green, the other is black. Fill ellipse, we get circle X, circle Y, get radius, etc. Nothing special. The tick is you undraw and then you increase the velocity. And this is the tricky part where we spent most of our time. The velocity keeps increasing down as in the rate of gravity. It starts from zero and keeps increasing, just like the gravity in real life. Acceleration, yeah. And the circle move the y direction based on the velocity. Yeah, and you draw the circle again. And the hit is basically once the player hit one of the pipes, just set the velocity and the gravity and the power jump to zero. It doesn't stop the game, but technically it doesn't stop, but the player can't move anymore. Yeah. And here's the jump. It looks small, but it also took us a lot of time to figure out how to do that. You basically set the velocity to the jump bar, which is 10. It was minus. And then we set it to plus. So player is, let me just play again. See, the player is falling. Yeah, the player is falling by default. You see, it accelerates, and whenever I press space, it just gives a opposing force to the up. Yeah, I hope I explained well. Yeah, that's pretty much what we did, me and Atayib. Maybe Atayib is going to explain it in a different approach. I don't know. But this is what we've done. The circle and the bird. Yeah, that's it.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I am Anas Muzammil Mustafa Hamad, and today I will explain the rectangle and pipe file in our project, which is MathBird. Okay, first of all, I will start with the header file or HTTP file for rectangle. In this file, we made a struct, the rectangle is struct, and we called rect. we have a private variables which is left, top, right, and bottom, and these will be the 4 points, 4 edges, sorry, for the rectangle. There's also a constructor, and other than that, there is only method, okay, to get left, get top, get bottom, and more else. Also, there is a center X and center Y, and there will be a move by the value X and value Y, and I will discuss this with you later. Okay. So now let me explain more about the rec.cpp file. Okay, we already include the graphic and the rectangle or rec.http .hpp file. The constructor is will be the left bottom, left top, right bottom, and these are the variables. Left is mean, yeah, dash left, dash top, and like that. Okay, we got this method which is get left, and the return will be left, and get top, return will be top. Same thing for the bottom and the right. Okay, for get width, this is important. Okay, the width is right minus left, and this will get the value of the width for this rectangle. Same thing for the height, it will be bottom minus top. If we make it top minus bottom, this will get the negative value, and we want a positive value, so it will be bottom minus top. Okay. Uh, okay. Now we will go to the center x, and in this method we'll get the x point for the rectangle, and it's actually right minus left divided by 2. Actually, it could be right minus width divided by 2. At this point, we will get actually the center of the rectangle in the x-axis. Same thing for the y, center y. This here we will got the center point at the y-axis for the rectangle, and then we will have move by. It will be left. Okay, if we want to move it left, it will be left plus dash x. Same thing for the right, because if we want to move a rectangle as it is, we will have to move it all of it as a one unit. So we will move both right and left at the same with the same value, both of them. Same thing for the top and the bottom. Okay, I'll explain the pipe.hpp. It's actually pretty easy. We have class pipe, and we have a private parameter which is the object rect, and we have also a float speed which is a float that type. In the public we have the constructor, okay, and also some method which is draw and the tick method, which is actually responsible of the collision. And yeah, now we will go to the pipe.cpp. Okay, these files are included. We can see that the pipe.hpp are included. Okay, for now, the constructor will be the rect is equals dash rect, and the same thing for speed. Speed equals dash speed. For the draw, we will set color as green, and the set fill style, it will be one which is mean solid fill, and the color will be a green. For the rectangle, also we will draw the rectangle, which is with the 4 edges, okay, which is left, top, right, bottom, and we will draw the rectangle as this. Okay. For undraw method, it's actually the same thing with draw, but this time it will be a black because our screen is a black actually. And now for the tick method, which is actually, as I said, it's responsible of collision. We can see that in the collision, we didn't take the uh, top right, top, bottom, right, and left point. No, Actually, in this time, we take center x, center y, width and height of the rectangle, and all of this because the collision method, which is actually we took it from here, yeah, in this method, it's actually it's required the point x, y, and the width and height. Okay, now also we have the, yeah, then it's moved by the negative of speed because it's actually moved from right to left, so it's moved by the negative, not by the positive, so we have to make it negative. Okay, now I will explain in the main file. Okay, in the main function. Okay, we create two pipes, which is pipe one with this dimension and the speed 5, and pipe two with this dimension and speed 5 also, because we want them to move together. Yeah, and now this is actually responsible of draw the pipes for each after each move. So this is the function draw, and yeah, this for collision, the collision for the bird and the pipe, the collision between bird and the pipe, and yeah, I think that's all it. That's all of it. Thank you for watching.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Atay Mustafa Ibrahim. I'm here to explain two code files, which are the bare TBB file and the bare TBB file. And here we're going to start with first with the class of the bird itself. Here uh, I think the code in here is like clear. So we have here first start with the bird class. So yeah, it has two access specifiers, private access specifier and public access specifier. In the private, we have the circle, which we create an object from the circle itself. So we have the circle here, circle class. Yep, is a circle class. So going back to the GPB file. Here we have also we have float gravity and float velocity. The float gravity velocity here we use it to control the movement of the bird itself, so keep falling down. The in jumper is like whenever the player or the user press space, it goes up every time. And last frame, it's like using the knowing or determining or keep tracking the bird last frame was drawn where. Here we have the public access specifier. We have the bird function, which we have here like a constructor. Uh, we have the void draw function and draw function and tick function, hit function, jump function. Its collision, we didn't work with its collision part. What it did. So I'm here to explain these functions. So we're going to bear TBB file. Here we're going back to the bear TBB file. Going to explain the bird constructor function and the bird draw function and undraw function tick, hit, and jump. We're gonna start with the bird function. Here we have like as a function parameters circle object, circle class circle object in jump power and the gravity. Here we have the it's already like clear. Circle, we have the circle, jump bar, jump, gravity equals to gravity. I think this is like initializing the variables with numbers. Going to bird draw. Draw is like special. It's like it's not special. It's like drawing the object itself, drawing the bird itself. So we here we have the set color to green, set file style to one green, file ellipse. We have the circle get x, get y, get radius, get circle get radius. So we're going back to the undraw. Same. That one is draw. This one undraw. The object itself, the bird object. Here we have the bird tick function. Here we have the draw function and undraw function, and here we have the draw function. Velocity equals plus gravity divided by 10. Here the trick is here, like whenever the let me run. So the idea is here, whenever the player is pressing space, okay, so whenever the player is like pressing space, it goes up. Whenever he stop, the object goes down. What happened here is like the acceleration was going down. It's not like equal. It goes like by 10. It goes 10, 20, 30, and it keep like moving this way. So this is the tick uh, function. And hit function here we are like whenever the bird hit the pipes, the velocity equal to 0 and the gravity equal to 0 and the jump power equal to 0 means that if the velocity stop and the gravity stop and the jump power, whenever the player want to press space of it's not gonna move. The bird itself is not gonna move. So we have here the jump power is like controlling the object. Whenever he press space, the bird object goes up. So I think that's all for the CBB build file. Thank you.
Hey, I am Wali. I will explain my part in this project, which is collision. So let's start. First, we need to specify that we took the collision function from the internet. So I will explain it right away. Here we have this function, which is which have the 3 points of the circle, x, y, and the radius. The first check here In the first check, it's checking if the center of the circle is within the rectangle. If the x and y coordinates of the center of the circle are both greater than x and y coordinates of the top left corner of the rectangle minus half the width and height of the rectangle and both less than x and y coordinates of the top left corner of the rectangle plus plus half the width and the height of the rectangle, then the center of the circle is within the rectangle and the function returns true. Next we have this check, which is checking if the circle is intersecting in any of the edges of the rectangle. If the distance between the x coordinates of the center of the circle and the x coordinate of the center of the rectangle is greater than half of the width of the rectangle, plus the radius of the circle or the distance between the y coordinates of the center of the circle and the y coordinates of the center of the rectangle is greater than half of the height of the rectangle plus the radius of the circle, then the circle is not intersecting in any of the edges of the rectangle and the function returns false. The following check, which is right here, it's check if the circle is within rectangle by checking distance between rectangle center of the circle center is less than or equal to half the width or half the height of the rectangle. The final check is that uses the Pythagorean theorem to check if the circle is intersecting a corner of the rectangle. The variable corner distance, which is right here, the variable corner distance is the distance between the center of the circle and the closest corner of the rectangle squared. If this distance is less than or equal to radius of the circle squared, then the circle is intersecting a corner of the rectangle and the function returns true. Lastly, in the main CPP, we have in the main this slope, which is responsible for the collision of the pair.